in the net, mate. Finally.
Awesome. Just look at that fish, amazing.
Yes! What a result. Awesome fish. Yes!
Well in, mate.
I'm chuffed.
Well deserved.
Awesome.
Just went to reel my rod in, and there's a huge common on the end of it. It was completely done me in the weed, but I managed to get it out.
So me and Lewis are back down Darrow Farm. We're not sure how long we're going to stay yet, but we just had a little walk around the lake and there's absolutely tons of carp in the peg in front of us. Hopefully we can get a bite. Look at how many fish there is. There's about 3 there. There's just absolutely tons. They go all the way around that sort of bay area. There's even some nearer in. There's absolutely tons.
So, as Luke just said, there's fish just absolutely everywhere.
There's absolutely tons.
So I think just due to the amount of fish there is, just and trying to keep minimal disturbance, we're just going to have 1 rod each, cast smallest lead we've got, just plop it out there and
see that?
Yeah, one just, mate, we need to get some rods out there
as soon as we can.
As soon as possible.
Now we're going to put this one out sort of 3/4 of the way out. There's still quite a few carp in the area. The wind's pretty heavy, so this cast's going to be a little bit more challenging than it would have been, but nonetheless we'll get it out. Nice, that's perfect.
Hopefully it won't be long before
yeah, definitely
the rod rips off. So Luke's just got his rod out on all them fish that's showing out there. There's still loads out there right now, but I've just quickly rigged up my rod. Just got the usual slip D rig, little snowman, PVA mesh bag. I'm just going to try and, as quietly as possible, drop it on the spot, and hopefully it won't be long before we get one. Right, going to try and get this one out. There's a band of weed that goes round the island, but then there's a gap between the margin and that band of weed, and I'm going to try and land it right in that gap.
So just a quick little update. The weather has changed a lot. It's raining now and it's getting quite windy and it's not near as warm as it was earlier. There's still a few carp over in the bay over there, but not as many as there was. Whether that's just because we can't see them because they've gone down lower or they've moved off the spot, we're not too sure yet, but I'm just sheltering from the rain in the bivvy.
Really nice end to the day. You can see behind me, the sun's just gone down, a really nice sunset, but this is the end of day 1 and the carp have still eluded us. It's about 9 o'clock now and we've had a few occurrences today. The fish were all over us earlier and we were getting constant liners, but unfortunately we couldn't get a bite. This lake isn't known for doing very many night bites, so I think the best chance for a bite is sort of early morning, so I'm just redoing my rods and making sure they're perfectly on the spot, ready for the morning, because there's a shallow bar sort of on the edge of the island, and from what the owners told me, in sort of early morning when the sun first comes up, the fish will cruise over the shallow spot, so I'm hoping to get my rigs perfect on those little shallow bars, and so then when the fish come in the morning, my rig is right there, ready for them. And then fingers crossed we can get a fish, or maybe even potentially get one tonight, but like I said, this lake's not well known for doing fish at night. Right, so you just saw me wrap up that rod. It's just clipped up at 6.5 wraps. I'm now going to give this one a cast. It's just got a spinner rig, just with a little yellow pop-up. Really simple. And yeah, hopefully tonight or tomorrow morning it can get me a bite. Perfect. It's on the spot. It's about 4:30 in the morning. The sun's just come up and I've just woken up to a really weird bite on my left-hand rod. I just got a few beeps, so I saw the bobbin move up and I thought the rod was about to rip off, but unfortunately I think it was maybe just a liner, but it's still a good sign. It might mean fish are feeding. So I walked that left-hand rod all the way down the margin right into the corner, not too close to the reeds but probably a rod length off. I then lowered my rig and then probably put a handful of boilies over the top of that. Yeah, so hopefully if all goes to plan, when the sun comes up a bit more and hits the water should warm up a bit, and that shallow bar across the back where 2 of my rods are, the fish should start cruising in there in the sun, and hopefully with rigs in position should be in a good chance of a fish. But yeah, just an incredible lake. I've done that bit of video this morning at like 4:30 in the morning, talking about that left-hand rod really far down the margin, and it's only gone and ripped off. It's now around 8 o'clock and the rod just pulled up tight and then burst into life, but I need to try and steer this fish into safety. It's so good just to finally get a bite out of this lake.
Certainly been challenging so far.
All that hard work's paid off. Awesome fish. That is a big fish, mate. I reckon that'll do 20.
Awesome.
Need to watch out because there's lots of big weed beds. I think he's nailed though. It's a spinner rig, and the majority of the time with those you get a really good hook hold. In the net, mate. Finally!
Awesome.
It was a long time coming, but we've finally done it.
That's
Alarms
excellent.
going off in the background. Phone alarm, not Luke's alarm, but hopefully Luke's rod does go off. Look at that for a fish, mate. Awesome. Get this one out and take some pictures of it. Look at that for an amazing mirror carp. Last night I decided to switch up the tactics. Before I was just using a yellow pop-up on a spinner rig, and I thought I'm putting brown boilies out, and I've got some brown L1 pop-ups. So I put a match the hatch L1 pop-up on a spinner rig, whittled it down a little bit to make it look a bit broken. And yeah, this is the result. 8 o'clock this morning, because I was fishing tight, just a few beeps, I looked out my bivvy door and the rod was bent round. And this is what was on the end of it. I'm made up with this fish. In 2 sessions now down this lake with nothing, and finally to get this fish is just amazing. It means so much. Just look at it, it's absolutely pristine. I'm buzzing with this fish. Just look at that, look at the width of it. Put him back now.
So, as you saw, Lewis had that incredible mirror, and he caught that on a match the hatch pop-up, matching the boilies we've been putting out. So I've just done the same sort of tactic on a Ronnie rig, which is also what he done, and I'm just gonna put it out to that spot. You see that pile of weed? I'm not sure you can see that right now, but that area had been raked previously before we got here, so I'm just gonna cast to that sort of area. It's quite tight.
So we've just walked up the margin, just up from my swim, and this is where I've been putting my left-hand rod, and that's what done the fish this morning. So there's a small inlet of water here where there's fresh water coming from a water source underground, and that's sort of disturbing the surface of the water. So I think the fish might be being attracted to that sort of disturbance, and it might be putting a bit of oxygen in the water. So I've just been lowering my rig sort of about rod length off in the corner of this bay here, and then throwing 3 or 4 boilies over the top, and that's what done the bite. So as you just saw, I had that screaming take, but unfortunately the fish came off. We're not really sure how big it was. There's no telling. Average Stamford fish in here are absolutely massive, so I don't really want to think about it too much, but I'm just gonna get the rod straight back out again, put a few boilies around it, and then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we have another fish. Right, so just cast my rig out there, and I'm just gonna put a small handful of boilies over there. I had that bite, so it means they're coming in on the bait, so just gonna top it up, and then we'll walk the rod back to the swim again.
So just as I was baiting up my other spot, the rod absolutely teared off, and I had to put a lot of pressure on this fish because it was going into reeds down there. It's just matched the hatch pop-up like Lewis was doing earlier, which got him the bite. It's now also got me a bite. Hopefully we can get this one in. Like last session when I lost one, hopefully that does not happen. Up a good battle so far, mate. Yes! Mate, I'm chuffed. That's awesome. Oh, finally, mate. I did not expect that to happen. So, look at that. Put up a great battle. Just as I was baiting up one of my other spots, this rod that this fish was on absolutely teared off, and this is the result. Really nice dark mirror. It's not the biggest, but saves a blank, and I'm more than happy with this one. What a result, awesome fish. I'm absolutely chuffed with this fish. Just behind where Lewis is where I caught it, out down the reeds, just flicked out, chucked a few crucial baits, L1 boilies over the spot, and this is the result. I'm absolutely chuffed with it. Look at that for a mirror carp. It's a nice dark one as well. Whilst it's not as big as Lewis's, I'm certainly happy, as I've done better than last session where I didn't catch one at all. What a result. So now about to release this beautiful dark mirror. To say I'm chuffed with this would be an understatement. This lake's very challenging and any size fish is welcome. I'm very happy with this one. Hopefully we can get another. Yes!
Well in, mate.
I'm chuffed.
Well deserved.
Awesome. So this is the end of our session. We managed to land one fish each, whilst we could have got more. we're happy with one each. That's way better than last time when we both caught no fish. So we're happy with that, and we're gonna end it here.
Right, not that long ago, we're literally in the middle of packing up now, but not that long ago I had a weird few beeps. I didn't think anything of it. Just went to reel my rod in, and there's a huge common on the end of it. It was completely done me in the weed, but I managed to get it out. What on earth? We're literally just packing up. I had a few weird bleeps on my right hand rod. Didn't think anything of it. A few minutes later I went to reel the rod in and it was locked up, and this is what was on the end. 22-pound common. I can't believe it. I didn't expect to get another fish, and to get this one at the end of the session is just amazing. And look at it again, absolutely pristine. I'll get some pictures and then slip this one back. Absolute chunk. Amazing to get that fish right at the end of the session. Really nice, 22-pound common. Now I'm going to let him go. Off he goes. Mega fish. Great way to end the session.
So we just want to say a massive thank you to Will, the owner, for letting us fish the lake.